Hello, my name's Lisa Miles, and I'm very excited to be doing a special reading for the Govenhill Children's Festival. I have written a book of, well, it's for young adults, so ages 12 and up. This is the book. It's called My Life's Not Funny, and it's the story of Amelia. Amelia doesn't have a brilliant beginning to life. She's been in and out of foster care, but she has a mum who loves her, albeit the mum has some difficulties of her own. I guess we all know people like that, don't we? People for whom life isn't always easy, but a bit more of a rocky road. Well, fortunately, Amelia, through the journey, has some people to help her. So even though she goes through a bit of a difficult time, quite a difficult time actually, she manages to find strength within herself. So I'm going to do a short reading. I'll read a little bit from the prologue and then I'll read from the first chapter as well. And I've dedicated the book to anyone who's ever been told you can't do it or you're not good enough, because I'm hoping that Amelia's story will show them that they can. Okay, so here's the prologue. September 2017. Amelia stared at her reflection in the mirror. She was not sure if she even recognized the girl that stood in front of her. So much had changed. So much had been lost. How had she even survived? She was dressed in her school uniform. It was the beginning of her last year at St. Crispin's. Brian, her guardian, tapped on the door. "Come on, or we'll be late." How why did I agree to give the speech? Amelia nodded. Her 15-year-old self was starting to panic, just as her 12-year-old self had done on her first day. She'd known no one then. She had almost had a full-blown panic attack, being all the more aware she came from the wrong side of town. Because despite everything, Amelia, you have shown them, and me, that even when the odds are stacked against you, you can fight back with dignity. Dignity? Yeah, it's a bit of a lost phrase these days, but you have the courage of a lion. Remember that day in London when we saw Malala? Yeah, you had no idea who she was when you met her, but her story helps others. The same way that your story will, Brian pointed to the folded papers Amelia was holding. Is that the speech? Yeah, but it doesn't feel right. It's not what I want to say. Like at Billy's funeral, remember? When I didn't say what I wanted to and I messed up. Almost got Mum and me killed with that fire. If Mum hadn't... Brian held up his hands, interrupting her from past memories that could derail her. Then say what you think is important, Amelia. There will be kids here this morning who have some of the same thoughts and fears you once had, that they're not good enough, that their problems are too big to manage to talk about. Amelia looked doubtful. Still don't get why they picked me. Because you shine. Because you're clever and you're kind and because you get other people. Lots of clever people can't relate to others. But you can. You do. Can you give me 5 more minutes? Sure, but then we really have to go. Amelia nodded. She sat down on the bed and took out the journal she'd been writing in since Billy, her brother, had been killed. She looked again at her notes and tucked them inside the journal. Here goes nothing, she said aloud. Amelia stood on the podium, her notes on the lectern, looking at the sea of phrases in front of her. The first years at the front, the upper years at the back. She'd almost missed the opportunity to stand here today. Her life had very nearly gone off the rails. And as the applause died away and Amelia took her first breath, she knew she had to tell them the truth. So that's the beginning, the prologue, if you will. I'll read a little bit from chapter 1. So this is Amelia in the garden with a local police officer. The police officers have told her and her mother that her brother Billy has been stabbed and is dead, along with 2 of his friends. Amelia squinted. Yeah, well, that's you. I'm nothing like you. I'd never do the job you do. Anne put her head to one side. Why's that, Amelia? Why do you think? Well, you know I'm from around here. Yeah, and you went to the same school that Billy and Stuart did and that I'll go to. You think you're such a saint. Saint bloody Anne. I'm no saint, Amelia. I can assure you of that. It was Anne's turn to laugh at the irony. She remembered when she had been asked to go to the school and talk to some of the seniors about career choices. Most of the girls had looked bored when she spoke. The boys had been indifferent, except for a few choice superlatives about her figure. Anne had always been top-heavy. There was no hiding it, even under a modest uniform. Anne had also been a bit of a loner growing up, different to the other kids. She liked reading, classical music, and going for walks in the wilderness. She had handled the comments, though, made a couple of the boys flush when she called them out on their inappropriate sexual jibes. That had got the attention of the girls, and one or two of them seemed to appreciate the frankness of her remarks. Can we talk about Billy? Amelia asked. What do you want to know, Amelia? Anne wanted to put her hand out, give the girl some comfort. Amelia was still picking at what Anne suspected was a scab from a self-inflicted cut. I want to know what happened, of course. Amelia rolled her eyes at Anne. We don't know yet. Only that someone called the police when they saw some boys fighting. Billy and his two friends were already dead by the time we got there. Were you there? No, I was out on another call. I was sent to see your mum as soon as I got back to the station. Your mum will have to go and identify Billy. I can stay here with you until she gets back. Is that all right? I suppose so. Amelia dug her bitten nails into her palms, squeezing her small hands into fists until the knuckles were white peaks. Her face was blank, void of emotion. If she allowed the pain that she had felt to come, she would be overwhelmed. If she cried, she would never be able to stop. Was that the real reason she had laughed? She wondered. So I'll leave it there. Thank you for listening. So My Life's Not Funny by me, Lisa Miles. I hope you enjoyed my reading. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Govenhill Children's Festival. And please do get in touch with me if you would like to. I'm at Lisa Miles Writer. That's miles with an I.com, and I'm more than happy to hear from young readers and parents and to ask any questions. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye bye. Bye bye.